Okay, let's see if it's going to go live.
Oh, man, that's funny. Are we live?
Checking.
Says live.
Says live.
Oh, there we are.
Are we there?
Hoot, there it is.
All right.
Not to be confused with whoop. There it is.
All right.
Hit those thumbs up button, Matt. Hit the thumbs up button. Seriously.
I don't see any thumbs.
Close the hit that X right there, and then the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can only do it once.
Just once, or else you'll unclick it,
Yeah.
and then hit the little down arrow on where the X was to bring up the chat again. Right there. Oh, try it again. Oh, sorry. Hit live chat. Sorry. Live chat button. There you go.
There you go. Good riddance, Tim.
It's starting already.
Nice.
Tim's already giving you guys crap.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He hasn't logged in yet.
He's got to work tonight or something.
Oh, that's
I
right.
saw that.
We're gonna switch our recordings to Tuesday night from now on.
Cody's gonna change all of a sudden. Tuesday nights at 6:30 are new recording times. Somebody needs to turn the volume down.
Yep.
That was me.
Matt,
I got it.
Matt.
Put it on mute.
Volume.
I just typed it into the chat. So Duty Driven's on, and I was saying something about Duty Driven made a comment on the like one of the Instagram posts, and Tammy was like, "Duty Driven? Yeah, like duty, D-U-D-Y, duty." She's like, not like D-O-O-D-I-E driven.
That's a different website.
Yeah.
That's a different line of business.
ZR2 Dave is in the hizzy.
But I'll take followers wherever we can get them.
What up, Dave?
Yeah, we can scrape the bottom of the internet to find fans if we need them. No? What do you think the bottom of the internet looks like?
You're looking at it right here. This is it right here.
It's 3 walls or blood.
Yeah. There's a camera on it right now.
Full of stickers.
Okay, so how do I want to do this?
Duty Turn said, I thought the same thing when I said it out loud the first time.
Nice.
He said my girlfriend thought the same thing. Although Duty Driven, like, that's a whole nother podcast.
That sounds like a commercial for diapers or something. Driving for diapers. Duty Driven.
That's you know what that is? That's the name of one of those pumping companies for the porta potties.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
why I said it's some other
hashtag. I thought of that. Hashtag you can't take it. Hashtag it's mine.
Oh wow, he did it.
Well, we can call it a turd chasers, and that'd be a porta potty.
All right, we are scraping bottom of the barrel.
Okay, so let me make sure.
Welcome back, Joe.
We're streaming here. We're recording here. We're live on YouTube. We got people in the chat room. Okay.
Oh, do I need my backpack for this?
No. We'll do that after. Oh, let me go press a button on the camera. No, we'll do the outer limit stuff after Joe.
All right.
There we go. Okay, so now we got the overview live. Okay.
You know I'm jealous, right?
I am, and that's why specifically I have it sitting there so that you can see it. Can you see it?
No.
Oh, no? Oh, that's right, because you're seeing it on this other... You're seeing this one here, huh?
Oh, yeah, now I see it.
Yeah.
Now I see it on the YouTube feed.
Yeah.
The YouTube.
And the YouTubes. All right. I don't have a notepad. Jose's going to drop something. I know it.
Hang on a sec.
How many pages do you have earmarked?
Well, this is my
That's your daily notebook? Ah.
yeah, it's my. I got a whole plan. I gave you one of these, right?
I don't use it anymore. I used it 3/4 of it. I used it about 2 months ago.
How many?
Now I use OneNote.
Oh,
I'm a OneNote guy now.
excuse me.
Yep.
It's like
All right.
Hey Joe, if you stack
far
up
do
a
you
couple
go?
more of those books, we won't be able to see your face. It'd be awesome.
Ouch.
No, there. That's
With
much
friends like
better.
you, who needs enemies?
Much better. Much better. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, we are back in the studio again. Matt and Jose are in the studio with me. We have Joe K, aka Trail Safety Guy, on our screen, here to talk trail safety stuff. What's up, man?
Living the dream. Summertime.
You know, speaking of the dream, I really do appreciate you taking the time to, step down a couple levels
beat me to it.
from
A couple?
from the
A
ivory,
couple?
from the ivory towers of internet grace and glory, and really like slum it with the Trail Chaser guys. For those of you that don't know, Joe has made it to the big times. He's in the bigs now. He doesn't have time for the minor league
made
guys.
the show. He made the show.
He made the show.
Literally.
He made the show. Tell us what we're talking about with the show, Joe.
Well, I had the opportunity to work with E3 Overland and Brad from Trail Recon to record a series of first aid videos. So last weekend we were, or a couple weekends ago, we were out on location doing probably about 10 or 12 different videos, just doing some first aid topics in a basic setup.
And if you don't know, go to e3overland.com. Empower, educate, entertain. So this is Brad from Trail Recon has put together this whole network community around education about overlanding, first aid, all kinds of stuff.
It's like a one-stop shop.
It's
right?
yeah, it's a one-stop everything you can need from an overland perspective, off-road perspective, and there's a significant amount of meat behind this as far as investment is concerned and production value. This is a serious deal, and they picked Joe to be part of it. And I told Brad he shouldn't do that, but he didn't listen to me.
Yeah, there was a lot of backroom talks.
Well, would he listen to you?
Well,
Like,
no, he wouldn't listen.
what
to
else
me.
would you advise him to do or not do?
And to be completely honest, I
that
didn't
he
want.
wouldn't listen to you about, you know?
To be completely honest, I didn't want Joe to go do it because now I know this is the last time we get to hang out with Joe.
This is
Like
the last- this is
at
the
this
last one.
at this point, you don't get to that level, and then all of a sudden come back and hang out here with us, and so Joe
So we're paying Joe to be on this episode?
for your
Whoa, I am. I'll get paid.
for your final farewell. Let's hear what you got going on. First of all, let me get you to reposition that microphone again so you come in a little bit louder. You're coming in kind of quiet.
And now?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. So what is
This is a low quality recording here. I know you're
yeah,
probably
you're used to
like,
something better.
Yeah,
you know,
we're not the pro production here.
No.
You know what was awesome while we were out on location was there were like 3 cameras running, and it was like, okay, so you face this one and then turn and start talking over to that one there, and it was like,
How
which
weird is
camera am I
that,
supposed
dude?
to look at? It was a really cool experience. I got freaking fried. My head peeled, my nose peeled, my lips blistered because they use these like reflectors to shoot the light
Oh, yeah,
and keep things going. And I'm not used to all that light. And I was putting stuff on my lips to keep them from getting chapped, and I think I actually burned them worse because of it. So we did talk about
where real quick. Where
that
were you
first-
guys on location? What location?
East side of Big Bear.
Okay, off the 38, right?
Yeah, off the 38. It was like, I don't know, one of the trails that goes from that side back down to Pioneer Town.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was called.
Was it that Snake Canyon or something like that?
No,
Isn't
it was
that over there?
it was a different. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. I
Pioneer
record those things in
Town.
Gaia, so I don't have to
Yeah.
remember.
Okay, but was there a lot of snakes? Because if there was a
No.
lot of snakes, I'd say, well, maybe it was Snake Canyon.
Yeah, no snakes.
Rattlesnake Canyon.
Yeah, I'm like Indiana
Rattler
Jones is one of my
Town.
idols, and I hate snakes just like he does.
Okay, so you're we haven't had you on in a while as the trail safety guy. I mean, we've talked about you being on the show, going on trips with us and stuff. But what are we going to cover in this episode, in this segment of trail safety?
So tonight, I think it's a good idea to talk about splinting and some of the extremity injuries that we may see out on the trail. With having Cody around and then having the kids around.
He's not wrong.
It's,
let's be completely honest. He's not wrong.
Nope.
It's just a matter of time before somebody falls or slips and falls or trips, and we've got a sore wrist or a tweaked ankle or something like that. So I felt like it was a good idea because our last segment was on bleeding control, and that kind of plays right into this being the next topic. So there's like the 4 common types of extremity injuries we can find are things like sprains and strains, broken bones or fractures, and then dislocations. And they all will present pretty much the same way. There's going to be pain. There's probably going to be swelling, and there's most likely going to be some kind of discoloration that occurs, some bruising underneath that, maybe some a hematoma that kind of balls up with blood underneath the surface.
Question about that. I think we talked about it once before.
Hemoglobins.
If you got a hobgoblin like bulging up on your arm from a fractious bone, should you poke
Should
that?
you puncture that?
Should you poke that and let all the hobgoblin out?
Only in another universe, it's okay. On our planet, no. On our planet, definitely not. No, we want to leave those things intact. You don't want to break blisters. You don't ever want to poke any holes in things.
So, but going back to splinting, and maybe you'll cover this. I'm sorry if I'm jumping, but if I fracture one of the bones in my forearm, and there's a big swelling, and I need to splint that, do I just splint it with the swell? I would think the swelling would make it harder to immobilize.
Well, it does make it a little more complicated, but we're going to pad around to help keep the splint full and keep the body part from moving. But yeah, we'll get to that down the road.
Okay, pause. I know we're on the live feed, but for the I'll edit this out. Do me a favor, try to reposition that microphone again. It seems like you're coming in just even quieter. Is there any way to put the arm down and then point the mic up a little bit?
Point the mic up to you.
Any better now? How about now?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Okay.
But his face is up in the
No, I know. I'm just well, because
I don't know if you noticed that.
but I just
do the rest.
Can you rotate the arm of the mic so the mic's pointed?
Yeah, it's directional.
Well,
obviously.
I have it on the directional setting, so it should be like I should be into this part here. Is that better?
Right on the end of the microphone, like
Well,
right where your
it's
thumb's
like-
at.
It's got to point at your face.
No, but the arm of the mic, can you just flip it like 180 degrees so the mic is pointing up?
This is what happens on the live feed right here, folks.
Yeah.
So in the background, this is us
breaking the
straight.
fourth wall.
Okay, now
Yeah.
talking to that right there.
Right now.
It's still quiet. It's just. For
This
some-
is so the part of the mic that's facing me right now is the side that is active.
Okay. Let's go with it. I'll just have to. I was going to try to avoid having to amplify every one of your talking segments, but I'll work it out in post. So that was. So go ahead and start again, Joe.
All right, so sprains involve joints and the ligaments of the joint. So sprains. Strains are where the it's where the muscle is stretched and it's injured. Fractures are the big word for broken bones. And fractures can be an open or a closed fracture. We used to use the term compound fracture when we had a broken bone that was sticking out. Now it's just open or closed. If you say compound, most people know what you're talking about. But either way, it's still a broken bone. And, one of my favorite things is when you're having a conversation with somebody and like, oh, I fractured this. Oh, you broke it? No, I fractured it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, same
Right?
thing.
Terms are
Or I always
interchangeable.
felt like fracture was like a crack and broke was like separation.
Well, there are different varieties of fractures. Like it may be an incomplete fracture or a green stick fracture, or I mean, there's different classifications of how the bone is broken or how complete the break is. And a lot of times there may not even be a change of direction or a lot of swelling. And that's one of the things that makes it difficult to differentiate between a sprain or a strain and a fracture, because the only definitive tool to establish whether there's a break or not is an x-ray.
Okay.
So in many cases, we have somebody who's got pain in the area, swelling, discoloration, and all we know is that's what the case is. And an increase in pain when you're kind of touching it to see what's going on will make it a little more obvious that there's probably a break, but there's no definitive answer until there's an x-ray done.
Go on.
The other thing,
They just start giggling.
What? If there's an increase in pain when you're touching it, stop touching
Don't touch it.
That's all I was
I agree
thinking.
with you.
so the other thing is a dislocation of a joint. So everybody should be pretty familiar with the directions of the bones in their extremities, and when that bone, or there's a separation of an elbow or a shoulder or a finger or something, I mean, that's going to be pretty painful. It's going to be oddly shaped, and it should be pretty obvious that there's something going on there.
I've been saying that about myself for a while. I'm pretty oddly shaped.
Odds of shape.
Pretty obvious. Pretty obviously something's going on with me.
So I remember as a kid riding skateboards, and there's always that one dude that eats it.
Yeah.
And then his wrist is now like a step,
yes.
like
Yes.
his thumb
It's
is
like
now
a-
on top. Yeah, and I remember seeing that, be like, "Ooh, you are done. You are in bad shape." I would say 3-4 times I saw that with someone just eating it, and you're like, we got to get you home."
Well, do you remember back in the early 90s, there was like a string of baseball players who were breaking their humerus or their upper arm bone through the throwing motion? There was a couple of guys in the big leagues that made delivered pitches, or one was a pitcher, delivered a pitch, broke his arm.
Didn't he have
Another
cancer
guy-
though? That was like
I was gonna
Mike
say,
Almonte.
One
or
of them had
something.
bone cancer, and that's why
Yeah.
it was brittle.
And then there was another guy that was an outfielder.
What's yours, please, Cody?
I was old and
Sisson.
yeah.
Born
Look,
in Sisson.
Sissons are born to break. Like we are the we're the like the baseline we're of humanity. Like this is what. So anything above here is considered normal. That's where we're
Got it.
physically
Just,
speaking.
okay. So you were saying an
Yeah.
outfielder like broke his what now?
The humerus, so the bone in the upper part of the arm.
This one?
I actually had a call where we responded to a community college for a guy there was a game going on, and a guy had done it just that. So it's something that broken bones are common things to happen, and we should be prepared for them.
Think about Bo Jackson. Now that we're talking about sports, Bo Jackson running down to first base, jamming his leg right out of the socket.
Oh no!
No,
that
he
was
got-
that was in a game. That was a
football.
Football.
Oh, yeah.
playing the Bengals, and he was tackled. So
That-
it was just the weight.
Yeah, that's right. But who?
Tackle from behind too, right?
There was.
You're thinking of Moises Alou.
Is he the one that broke his
Yes,
femur on the way to
leading
first?
off, and he tried to get back to the bag, and he locked up his knee.
Look at Rain Man
And,
over here with baseball, dude.
Hey, dude, you got your things.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
tell you, I got some stuff. But yeah, Moises Alou. That was, I think he was on Montreal at the time.
That's right. I remember
Yeah.
the name.
Yeah.
Did you?
So
But that's because he got his foot jammed in the turf and it stuck. And if he was on the grass, it would have given, a little bit, and his foot would have slid. But because there was no give with the
Oh,
turf,
yep.
it just locked
Yeah.
up. Yeah. So
yeah, so with any of these types of injuries, it's difficult to differentiate whether it's broken or it's just a sprain or a strain. So the basic concept here is to splint it as we find it. And in the trail environment, on the trail, we're going to splint it, we're going to keep them immobile, and then definitely going to try and get them to some medical attention.
I guess it would depend on the extremity, but like if you were to with an arm, would you want to splint it Like I'm thinking forearm, splint it or wrist, splint it, and then also secure it to the body, or just is splinting it and kind of holding it up so that stop blood flow. What's the best thing there?
Well, for us, trying to get somebody off the trail, yeah, definitely we're going to use some sort of rigid splint and then use a sling and swath to secure it to the body to keep it from moving around, keep them a little more comfortable. We don't want them to hit a bump and that swings open, swings out to the door and whacks it, and then they're in even more pain. The whole idea is to keep it still, keep it safe, and keep them from making it any worse.
What could you use as a splint? Could you use like sticks?
Well, if we're planning ahead, I carry you some cardboard splints. If you crack open that super duper Outer Limits first aid kit there's probably a SAM splint or a malleable splint, a moldable splint in that bag all rolled up, and that's a great tool. But yeah, you can take a couple of sticks or 2 or 3 sticks.
Isn't that essentially the problem? Is your bones are a little too malleable to begin with, and now
oh, not us, man. The kids, yeah, kids' bones are younger. They're still developing. They're a little softer, so they give a little. They absorb the energy better. But for old dudes like us, when we fall, we kind of fall a little bit harder than we used to, and the bones are a little bit.
If I fall, I don't get back up. Like that's
what goes through your head is like if you were to trip outside right now, what would be going through your head?
Like
I'll wait. I can't afford this.
Yes. One. What's this surgery going to cost me? Because I've already had 4 in the last 5 years. And 2, I'll just stay here till tomorrow. Like I'll wait. Someone will find me eventually.
It's like what's that commercial with the stuff you hung around your neck? Like
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Like
life
damn
alert.
It, life alert. Am I too young for life alert?
Have I told you guys about the life alert thing at my ex's grandma's house?
Yes.
Okay.
You have.
Have you heard this story?
Oh,
Jose?
I have.
Joe. So I'll tell it real quick because maybe I've told this on the thing. We were moving my ex-wife's grandmother into this senior living home, and on the counter was this little button on a chain, and I thought it was the garage door opener. And I'm walking around pressing the button. Next thing you know, the fire department rolls up, and I was like, I don't know, it must have been one of the kids.
Yeah. What you should have said is you're too late. She's already gone.
That's no joke. I've responded to those, and it's just to get somebody off the floor and back into bed.
I responded to one. I responded to one in my neighborhood. I was out here working on the car, cleaning the car or something, and the people that used to live a couple houses down, across the street and a couple houses down, this lady comes over and she's like, "I'm sorry, but can you help me?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" She's like, "It's my mother." And so we go over to the house, and grandma had fallen out of her wheelchair, and they could not get her back up. And I had to get behind her.
You were her best hope.
Exactly.
I was, yes.
Oh my God.
I had to. How bad is that I had to rescue?
I thought you were going to say you had like a life alert scanner.
Was she there for you when your Achilles blew? Where was she?
That was post Achilles. I was still able to do it. I'm a hero. Sorry, Joe. Okay, go ahead.
Way to go above and beyond.
Yeah.
It's not above and beyond. It's above and barely enough. barely above.
A cut above some.
Thank you.
Baseline of humanity.
Baseline and below.
I mean, bottom of the barrel. So like we said, cardboard splints or some sort of rigid type of device that will hold it in position. You can use a tongue depressor. You can use a popsicle stick. And then there's those moldable splints like we talked about. And then improvising is something that you may have to do depending on what you have in your rig. So yeah, a couple of sticks, maybe you cut up a shirt,
a crescent wrench, and a
long screwdriver.
A long screwdriver. Yeah, I mean, if that's all you had is an ace bandage and a crescent wrench, at least it's something, right?
Right. So we're going to talk about the foundation or the principles of splinting. So what we need to do is take those principles and apply it to whatever device you may have to try and get them splinted up and get them off the trail and to the hospital or urgent care, wherever you're going to go. If there are life threats that are present and it's something more involved than an isolated extremity type injury.
Wait, what do you mean by live threats? Like, is there a bear coming at us at this point and we're trying to splint it? What's a live threat?
no life threat, like if they're bleeding or they're not breathing or those kind of
Okay,
things.
something
Yeah.
above and beyond the broken wrist. I'm thinking this a live. If there's a bear coming, we're gonna splint this later. Come on, Matt, let's go.
Why do
That's
I
a scene
have to be
safety
there?
thing. That's when if we got to go, we got to go, because that's an emergent situation that we have
Yeah.
to get away from.
There's
But if there's,
tears.
if they're not breathing, or there's, bleeding, serious bleeding that has to be taken care of, those things will come before splinting. An extremity is something that comes after your management of the life-threatening problems. So it's a secondary thing, because when we're, as EMTs, when we're working in the field, and if somebody's been hit by a car and they're in cardiac arrest, so we're managing their airway and their breathing and their circulation by doing CPR. The broken ankle or the broken tib fib, those don't matter.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to kind of keep those packaged and together, but we're not going to splint that. We're going to put them in a full body splint, which is spinal mobilization, but these are things that are focused and that are isolated.
Well, and I
when we're
think
doing.
you've talked about that in the past, where you start head, torso, and then work your way out, right? So if there's a problem in the head, well, I guess for me, there's always problems in my head and my torso. So that's why my Achilles are so bad. It's just trickled down.
Could be.
No comment.
Too easy.
I'll let that hang
So
there.
when we finally get to the person who's injured, we know it's safe and there's no life-threatening problems that are there. The first thing we want to do is stabilize that injured body part. So if it's their right elbow, in most cases, the person is probably going to be stabilizing that, but already when you get to them, it's kind of a natural reaction for you to fall or get hurt and then kind of pull it close to your body and keep it close to you. So if the person hasn't already done that when you're there, then you want to help stabilize it. Let me go back one step. Before you start helping, remember, you need to ask if it's okay, especially if it's not somebody you're close to, right? If it's a trail chaser or a family member, then you're gonna pretty much, hey, let's
Let him lay there.
I'm gonna walk up
and keep running from the bear.
I'm gonna walk up
Leave your
with my
buddy.
video camera, and I'm gonna say, Matt, is it okay if I touch you? And I want you to say it into the camera, and then
I'm likely to say, go for it.
And then I'll
Please
have that.
do.
I'll have that for future use. So if I ever get called into court, I'd be like, he said I could.
I can touch
he
him.
didn't say when. I had
Or
to
where.
stop. Yeah.
Or where?
Your Honor, I've been begging him to touch me for a long time. Finally, all I had to do was break my ankle.
Okay.
sick and twisted. Sick and twisted.
See, this is, you guys, just some background here. Joe is he's very good at what he does, and he teaches this stuff on a regular basis, and he's used to the classroom environment where he has full control. And we
Still comes on our show.
he knows we're gonna screw it up.
Even after going with hanging out with Brad with Recon for a
he
weekend.
saw the light. He saw what it could be. He saw like the end result of all of his years of training.
Yeah.
And look, he's slumming it. He's like,
Yeah. He's doing it was pro bono, like charity work. Right now.
yeah. He's doing us a favor.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
trying to
know.
stay true to my roots.
All right. So you were saying about I don't even know what you were saying. I was joking around too much.
So stabilizing the injury.
Stabilizing. That's right. That's right.
So if the person can, I would encourage the person to stabilize it. If I need assistance, I can grab a bystander to help stabilize the injury site while I get into the first aid kit and start to get my stuff ready. If I'm lucky, I have Cody there to dive into the bag and start handing me stuff as I need it. That's always another option if you have a lot of people there. So, have somebody or yourself stabilize that injured site. And then what we want to do is make sure that we can see what's going on. So you may need to use a pair of safety shears or EMT shears to, cut the pant leg up or open the sleeve up. I would recommend not using a knife because that's just a pointy edge that may cut the person. So using a pair of EMT scissors to
You
cut the
immediately
sleeve
looked
off.
at me
because
about the
I'm-
pointy edge.
Because I'm picturing one of us going like, "Here, let me get your pants for
You're
you."
like, got it, dude.
Sorry about that artery.
We got an artery.
Yes.
We could just cut an artery.
Apparently, there's a bleed behind the leg we didn't know about. Let me pull this knife out of it and see what happens.
I need that cat tourniquet ASAP.
ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah, so cut and expose, open up that piece of clothing so you can see everything that's going on with that injury site. If there's any jewelry on, transfer rings or a watch to the uninjured side. That way they don't lose them, and there's not any.
Right into my pocket for the pawn shop. I heard what you're saying.
Make sure you put it on the other hand, the unaffected hand. Keep track of it. So make sure that happens, because with the swelling that can occur in that body part, it could cause a circulation issue, especially with jewelry.
Ooh, I imagine like someone's hand swelling up and their ring getting like restricting the flow, right? I mean, you can't get it off.
Yeah. Yep. We actually have a small saw that's specifically designed to get under the ring and cut through the metal.
Oh, no kidding.
It's a hand tool, so it's something. It takes a little bit, but
it's called the ex-wife saw.
That's some credit.
Come on,
give you a little credit.
Yeah, come on.
Give me the ex-wife.
Give me the ex-wife saw.
That was okay.
Yeah, it's the jailbreak saw. Is that what they call it? The like.
But I have a titanium ring, so
yeah, I don't know if that one will cut.
I have tungsten carbide. I don't know.
Well, yeah, okay.
We need an adamantium saw.
We need Wolverine. Just
Stat. We need Wolverine. Stat.
Somebody
this
call
guy needs a
Logan.
divorce now.
So we're transferring all jewelry, including wedding rings, to the other side.
Yeah, just to keep that, avoid that issue with swelling. So then you want to prepare the splint. So you want to be able to measure out and establish how long the splint needs to be. Now, if we're splinting a bone, we're going to want to splint from the joint above, which means closer to the body, and the bone down to the joint below. So if you think about if the injury is in the middle of your lower arm, then we want to make sure that our splint covers from the elbow to the wrist. And at that point, you just take that all the way into like the palm of the hand up to the fingers, just to keep the wrist supported, keep the hand supported. Now, if we're doing a joint, you're going to want to immobilize the bone above and the bone below. So if we're talking about the elbow, the humerus is the bone closer to the body, and then the radius and ulna are the bones below. So we would want to make sure that those bones don't move, and as a result, that joint doesn't move. Go ahead, let it out.
He's talking about a lot of bones, and he had names for them and stuff. I saw Cody starting to laugh, and I started to laugh.
Bone above, bone below. That makes perfect sense to me.
Strap those bones.
You got it. No, that makes perfect sense. Matt was making me giggle because he looks funny. It's not because I'm immature at all. And you said the word bone like 20 times. So
he named him too.
I know. So going back to like the elbow and using that, if we're mobilizing that elbow joint and we're splinting from the bone above and bone below, like at that point, how do it'd be harder to close it to the body, right? I mean, at that point you're kind of it's just sticking out there or hanging down, right?
Well, classic tool to use for the elbow or the shoulder is going to be the sling and swath.
Okay.
Right. The elbow and shoulder are more supported by using 2 triangular bandages to secure the elbow and the lower arm to the chest.
And I guess when you're talking about immobilization, I immediately went to straight immobilization.
That's what I was thinking about too.
But I guess even if the elbow's injured and whoever's injured is holding it in a bent position, you can immobilize it in that bent position, right? You don't want to necessarily open it up and stretch it out to make it a straight splint. Just immobilize it how it is.
You're right. You want to immobilize it right to the body.
Okay.
In all of my experience, haven't had somebody where we immobilize the arm when it's straight out. I mean, if that's how they fell and that's how it was, then that's how we would splint it.
Okay.
Because we don't want to move things or manipulate things.
Let me put this back where it belongs.
Yeah. At the EMT level, paramedic level, yeah, we have some guidelines on when to align a bone but that's at a different level, right? So at the first aid level, we're going to splint it just like we find it. Now, I want to remind you guys that we're talking about like in the trail setting where help isn't readily available. Now, if somebody has fallen and there's a serious type of injury like this,
I need a bone setter.
and we can call 911, it's better to make that call and let the professional resources come and help with the splinting process.
Hey, 911, can you send me your bone specialist? Who's the best bone guy you got?
Or girl. I don't want to discriminate. Just give me your best bone person, please.
I'm sorry, Joe. This was a mistake. You never should have come on this show. You made it to the bigs, dude.
Don't come back down here. I'm so sorry, dude. What are you doing down here in single A ball? What did you do?
We are just bringing you down.
It's like a Sunday
That
wood
was
battle.
just a cup of coffee. Yeah.
We are just bringing you down. It has nothing to do
I
with
got one pitch, and it's like
How many bone people do you guys have available?
we're gonna go talking about bones for 3 more episodes, probably.
Sorry. Okay, so we
Not really. I'm not that sorry. I'm laughing. It's good. It's good for me.
Is it? Oh,
Good enough.
So this is definitely the least mature episode we've ever done. Yeah, you're right.
Even with my content.
There's some competition there. So once we identify that we need to splint it and we get it splinted, like what's next? Do we ice it? Do we just like jump on the truck and go? Like what are the, considering that we're out on the trail and we know we're a couple hours away from the closest hospital, what do we do once we got it splinted?
So when we're splinting it, we want to make sure that we're using. So let's say we're using cardboard splint or that moldable splint that's in that first aid kit. You can use before you secure the splint to the body part. You want to make sure it's padded. You use some like gauze 4x4s to fill any voids, any places where the shape of the body part isn't supported. You want to make sure that it is, so it doesn't shift around within the splint itself. There are some cardboard splints that come with foam on the base, like where the body part will lay. Now, if we're splinting an elbow, we're using a cardboard splint or that moldable splint, or we're splinting the lower leg and ankle. We want to kind of box in the end of that splint so it will support and stay locked into the elbow or locked into the ankle. And when we're talking about a hand or the foot being involved, we want to splint those and kind of keep them in the position of function, kind of like that G.I. Joe, kind of
grip.
Of course, Kung Fu grip.
Right. So that, and then with the foot, you want to make sure that the ankle's kind of at that 90-degree angle, that if they were standing up, how the foot would be flat on the ground. So make sure that those things are going on.
But what if, remember that movie where the kid, he broke his arm and he had his arm like this in a cast forever?
Rookie of the year.
Yeah. And then he threw like 103 miles an hour.
Rowan Gardner.
What if I accidentally happened? What if I broke my left leg, but I wanted my right arm like that just so I could throw 100 miles an hour? Do you think that's realistic?
No, if you break your left leg, we're going to put your leg up in the air so you can be an NFL kicker afterwards.
Okay, one or the other. But you know what I'm talking about. That's science. I mean, it was in a movie.
Jose brought up a good point about the padding. What about like if it was an arm? What if you wrapped it in a shirt before you splinted it so that it would give a little bit of padding? Is that a good idea?
No, we don't want to wrap it because that wrap could be too tight and restrict blood flow. So just lay the padding into the splint, or if it's on the side that needs to be padded so the arm doesn't shift back and forth inside the cardboard splint. That's what you want to do. You just want to fill the gaps and keep the body part from moving around or shifting. Now, when you secure the splint, you can use tape. You could use like tape from your first aid kit, roller gauze. If that's all you had, you could use duct tape. But what you want to make sure is that it's snug, but it's not too tight. And you also don't want to cover the injury site. You want to be able to see what's going on there. But what you can do as we move forward is take ice or a cold pack, put a little bit of gauze over that painful swollen area, put a little gauze over it so there's a thin layer, and then put the ice or cold pack on there for about 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, you'll take it off, in about an hour or so, 2 hours, and then put it back on if you have an extended period. But that ice will help relieve some of the pain. It'll help reduce some of the swelling, make them a little more comfortable. My kids swear that ice doesn't work on injuries, but that's the go-to. Put ice on it for about 20 minutes, and then cycle it off. So what you're doing is you put the ice on there, it constricts the blood vessels,
Yeah.
forces the blood out, right? And then when you let it warm up again, it gets fresh blood in there, and then you go back to the ice later. It repeats that process, pushes out the constricts the vessels, pushes the blood out.
I was always told 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. Like 20 minutes on for ice, and then you're off for 20 minutes. And then is that not a thing, or?
I don't have that. I'm not used to the backside. You can put it on for 20 minutes and take it off. Usually it's a couple hours.
Okay.
In the field, in most of the time when we're running a
By 20
911
minutes,
call,
you're done. Yeah.
yeah, we're done. We've handed them off to the hospital.
So that's the kind of job I need. I need a job where like I just have to do something for like 15 minutes and then I hand it off to somebody else. Be like, here you go. I got them to the door of the emergency room. It's on you now.
That's one of the things I love about EMS is it's constantly changing, right? We run a call, it's about an hour typically, and then you're off to the next one. You wait a little bit, and then, or sometimes just back to back to back. So that's what has always held my interest, is the fact that it's such a fast paced environment, and then you're with the patient for a little while, and then you're off to the next one.
But I mean, what if you're at In-N-Out and you're eating lunch, and it's like, dude, I've already saved like 3 people today. I'm going to be a little late on this next call. I just got my double-double. Doesn't that happen?
It does. It does, unfortunately.
You eat on the
And
road.
that's where you learn. That's when you learn how to eat fast, and you put your jacket on, because as you're eating your burger, your animal style burger, as you're going down the road, you don't want it on your uniform shirt. When you get
Do
on
you
scene.
feed the fries to your driver? Because he's 2 hands on the steering wheel.
Yes. Yes.
So while we're talking about that, I want to go on a rant real quick. When a fire engine or an ambulance comes down the road and their lights and sirens are on, man, pull the F over, let them through.
What if you can't pull over?
Stop, get something. Like, it drives me nuts when I see an ambulance coming through and people are like, whatever, my radio's on, that doesn't affect me. One of these times.
Well, I mean, if your radio's on, you don't hear the ambulance.
But you should be looking in your
I'm just saying, like that is one of my biggest pet peeves. Like,
if I've been drinking all day and I'm just not paying attention?
That's when you should be looking at your
you should be
rear mirrors.
hoping.
Yeah,
You should be hoping the ambulance is there. But that's one of my biggest pet peeves when I see people not spread out to give the ambulance and the firefighters the right of way. One of these days, that ambulance is going to be going to someone in your family, and you're going to wish that everybody got out of the way so they can get there in time. It drives me absolutely nuts. Pull over, stop, let them get through, and then go about your day. That's my public service announcement.
Couldn't you have just called the hotline with that complaint?
I could have.
Just okay.
Next time I'm out driving and I see that, I'm going to call the hotline and be like, "See," and I'll start throwing out license plate numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody loves.
Anyways, that's a huge pet peeve of mine. I hate that.
Good looking out, Cody. I appreciate that. So do my brothers and sisters on the ridge.
So we left off with splinting and putting ice on there and
cycling off the
on and off the ice, and then so assuming that we're not EMTs and we only have to keep them alive for 15 minutes and we're on a trail, like, what's from an extended period of time? How long can that splint stay on, and how long do we do the ice stuff?
So the splint will stay on until we get them to the hospital. It stays. It's there to protect them and keep them from further injuring it by moving it. And then we'll just continue to repeat that ice process, 20 minutes on, let's just say an hour off, to give it time to warm up again and then put the ice pack on.
Can cold beer substitute as a ice pack?
It could in a pinch. It's if you don't have
depends on how much you've been drinking.
They got to be blue on the Coors Light.
Yeah, the fountain's got to be blue though, for sure. It just depends on what you have. I mean, if you're prepared, you'll have at least a cold pack. And some sort of splint with you.
We're not prepared.
You are now.
We are now.
Yeah, so when we're out and we have, we're not like Cody running the Dometic. The rest of us have ice in our cooler.
Whoa. I borrowed that Dometic for a day and I had to give it back. So I don't have a Dometic. That was a loaner.
Okay.
Look, I don't hang out with the cool kids like you do, so I don't get that kind of stuff.
I don't have a fridge.
Not yet.
True, not yet. I think I need a lift.
I want one bad, but yeah.
So I carry extra Ziploc bags in my first aid kit, so I can go diving into an ice chest to pack it, pack a bag of ice, so we can have that if we need it. But keeping those things going until we get to the hospital or urgent care, wherever we're going, is we just need to keep that in place. What we have to be careful of is continuing to monitor the body part, like the hand or the foot, in the lower extremity, upper extremity, to make sure that if there's any swelling that occurs down there or any discolorations that are occurring, we may need to loosen the splint a little bit to ensure that blood flow is happening. If the person's complaining of numbness or tingling in the hand or the foot after we've applied a splint, maybe it's too tight and maybe we need to loosen it up a little bit. But they need to be snug and keep the body part from moving. And that's the whole goal of splinting, is to prevent further injury by keeping it still.
Well, I'm hoping that I never have to have a splint. But so I like the idea though of
I'm hoping for a lot of things too. But,
yeah.
The likelihood.
I like the idea of having those cardboard, either the cardboard or those malleable splints in the kits. And or improvising with whatever. I mean, like I said, a crescent wrench, a screwdriver.
It's kind of like when you're playing baseball and you're like, man, I'm hoping I don't get hit today. But it's going to happen. Like, statistically, you're going to get nailed one of these days. And if you're playing in our league, it's Mark. Mark, you know who you are. You used to hit me every damn time I came up. That guy just... Sorry. Those statistics are...
Just had a flashback.
No, wait, I'm sorry.
Where am I?
Cody reached for the pen and he's like, edit that shit out.
The good thing is, with the Frontier and with the Ranger, you probably can get a couple of cardboard splints behind the back seat, between the back seat and the back of the cab. They're flat, and that's a very narrow and flat space. If those seats fold down, you might be able to stuff it back
I was
there.
waiting for him to make fun
I'm
of us.
trying to decide. I'm trying to decide. Is that a dig? I don't know.
Yeah, is that an insult?
No, I think
No,
that was
I'm sure.
an actual tip.
Yeah, it was
I
an
think that
actual
was an
tip. You can.
But I was getting defensive.
Oh, me too. I was ready. I was ready.
Dirty.
I was trying to.
Next time we go wheeling, I'm going to bring a bucket of water. Is what I'm telling you.
And going back to your baseball analogy about getting hit, dude. Anytime
I got hit. So honestly,
Dude.
the same guy nailed me because if he didn't, I hammered him. Like I knew exactly how to hit the guy, and so he just quit. He just threw at me like every other at bat. Swear to God, he would just hit me like, just take your base. So it was, dude, why am I standing? Can I just go take the base, please, or do I have to do I have to have a bruise?
whenever I was in a slump, I would crowd the plate
Just
and
get-
lean in in hopes that I would get hit. And there was
Yes.
this one game where this pitcher was throwing it was all
Gas.
junk. No, it was all junk.
yeah, I
dude,
thought
yeah.
It was all
babies.
junk, and I couldn't hit any of it. So I crowded the plate. Boom, I get hit. And I'm like, start to trot off, and the umpire's like, you got to try to get out of the way. I'm like, why would I get out of the way? That's 40-mile-an-hour junk right there. So again, then I line up again, and this time I pretend to get out of the way, but put myself over the plate
you
and get
just
hit.
roll.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I got hit 3 times and still didn't get my base. I probably struck out. Yeah, I was way better at taking a shot to the back than actually hitting the ball.
Just go up there next time
Wait, what?
left-handed. Whoa. Shots fired.
Oh, come on now. So
Exactly.
what other advice, Joe, on splinting and immobilization do you want to talk about?
Well, just be prepared. Take some splints along with you. Find a convenient place to tuck them and remember where they're at if you need them.
Well, that's a good
you know,
idea.
I
Like throw some kind of material in the back of your truck, like you said, behind the seat. Throw a piece of cardboard or something back there that you can use. That's a good idea. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, so if you can, I mean, there are commercially produced cardboard splints that come in a variety of sizes. Make sure that you have something, you guys in the outer limit kit, there's that moldable splint. Yep, right there.
Moldable one.
Having one of those or a couple of those is a good thing to have. I mean, because it can be used for a number of things. Yeah, so just, what we talk about here doesn't replace the need to take a bona fide CPR first aid class where you'll actually get some hands-on practice doing this. And that's the best way to do it, is to get into a class, you get some positive reinforcement, you build some muscle memory on what to do, and having that knowledge ahead of time will help you keep a calmer mind, to be less frantic on the scene, and know how to use what you have in your kit. I mean, you guys got those new kits.
Yeah, we're gonna have to schedule a class with you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say someone's gonna have to show us how to use this stuff.
Yeah, so let's set that up. We can go over the kits and we'll talk about getting you guys to a point where you have
you have confidence in us saving you.
Yeah, that is an investment there.
He knows there's no chance of us saving him, and I don't usually don't get frantic in those situations. I usually laugh. Like if I get super nervous, I'll just laugh. Like I find it hilarious, and it's kind of weird. And I've been called out on it before.
Well, so that whole when the Jeep flipped over in Hammers, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting seeing how everyone was reacting.
Yeah.
Like Joe got off super calm.
Yeah.
Like Cody, look at my bag, please.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this for a minute.
Brad was already working on the guy. He was super calm.
Yeah.
I was just watching. I wasn't freaking out, but I was just watching what everyone was doing. And then people were running.
Yeah. People
were yelling into the phone. But yeah, you just walked up with Joe, and then he just started telling you what to do. You're like, okay, and just hold this guy's head.
Yeah,
but I was making jokes the whole time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I just crack jokes. That's like my defense mechanism.
Yeah, but it was I practiced that, for so many times before that, and knowing where stuff was. It's not like we were trying to learn what was in the bag. It was already stuff that I was familiar with. So that familiarity is a big part of keeping yourself calm when you're trying to help, and using your resources while you're at that kind of scene. To Jose, you were available, and I got you to start taking notes. And Cody happened to be right there, and he had my bag, and he was helping hand me supplies. And Matt did a great job of staying out of the way.
I did. Thank you. I was going to say, did you guys notice how I wasn't in the way at all?
Matt made sure that the beer didn't get warm. That's what Matt was doing the whole time, just making sure the beer was properly consumed.
I think I made a cocktail, to be honest with you.
You're like, man, this
looks like
crazy stuff
looks
here.
like you guys got this under control. I'm going to go make a margarita.
No, it's a rum and coke. But,
all of that.
I walked
all
back.
of that goes a long way. All of that goes a long way in keeping, keeping the helpers calm, keeping the person who's hurt calm.
So exactly. While everybody's running around like crazy, they're like, "This dude just went and made a cocktail. I guess everything's under control."
Yeah,
he's just chilling.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, Joe, thank you for coming on and doing a trail safety segment. Where can people find out more about you and what you're doing, and where should we follow when you become like the superstar of E3? And we want to try to get a hold of you so you can hang out with us again.
Well, so at Trail Safety Guy on Instagram. And Foothill Safety Services is spinning back up again. It's my first aid and CPR business that I do outside of my regular work. And you can find us there at foothillsafety.com. That website's still kind of being developed, but that's where you can find us.
Yep. So foothillsafety.com and at the Trail Safety Guy on Instagram. Hey, do you need to cut out, or do you want to stick around for a minute? Because the plan for now was to talk about these first aid kits, and maybe we can pull some stuff out of it, and you can tell us what it is.
Yeah, I can stick around.
All right. So those of you that have listened know that a handful of episodes back, we had Travis on from Outer Limit Supply, and Outer Limit Supply provides first aid kits, and not only just like first aid kits, some really badass kits. So we were able to get 3 kits from Travis.
I think it's the ones that they offer, like the 3
Yeah,
different
so
ones,
so one is a fanny pack,
Yep. One's this backpack.
one's a backpack, and one's a over-the-shoulder sling, right? So I chose the fanny pack because I don't know if you guys know this,
Obvious
but
reasons.
fanny packs are freaking cool. Like, I mean, this is a badass tactical fanny pack. I mean, I don't care.
You put tactical in front
Look,
of it.
I don't care who you are. You put a fanny pack on, you instantly go up a couple points in the single dating world. I'm telling you, trust me.
Nobody's keeping those scores,
Dude,
like, those points.
My
are
wife
irrelevant.
married me, and I was full fanny pack mode at that point. So, like, I've opened these a little bit and kind of just poked at
That
them.
makes me question Tammy's judgment.
Bad
Is
judgment.
all that does.
Bad judgment. But I haven't really gone through it, and we're going to try to go through this on we're doing it on live feed, so you'll see it. But at the same time, we're going to try to explain what's in these kits. So in the fanny pack, like, it's the full Molly build, and on all 3 of the bags, by the way, the full Molly.
They're all outfitted the same, I think.
Yeah, full Molly build where you can add modules to it. We have one of the IFAC. The cat tourniquets that we've talked about on the show with Joe. Like, mine's orange. Jose got a red one. I don't know what color Matt's is.
I'm still
Hey, Jose. Cody, for the record, isn't that one black that Jose
Yeah,
has?
this is black.
What did
bro.
I say?
You said red.
Red.
Oh, it's got that little red thing on there, and yeah. Well, thanks everybody.
Shears.
Yep, shears, some gloves.
Hey, Joe, what's this Esmark bandage? It's like a heavy duty.
Oh, that's the rubberized. It's a rubberized self-adhering bandage. Like
You sound like you're an expert with these bandages.
So Joe can correct me, but during physical therapy, they used these rubberized bandages and they wrapped my legs really constrict the flow, and then they'd release them as part of the physical therapy, right, Joe? That's what these rubberized constriction.
Yeah, so it sounds like, is it a self-adhering bandage?
Now that I'm looking at it, no, it's not one of the self-adhering ones. It's just a rubberized Esmark bandage, sterile, single use. It looks like it's a rubberized constriction type bandage where you can stretch it tight and it would constrict some of the body parts or flow.
Yeah, so it's probably one that like clings to itself as you wrap around, and it can hold some tension, but it's not necessarily like a full-on
This is
like ace bandage.
Yeah. Pocket guide, reference guide.
Yeah,
This is good.
reference guide.
I think this is like the headband that Mr. Miyagi gave
Danielson.
Danielson when he got his training.
It's an NAR S-rolled gauze. I don't know what that is.
So NAR is the brand.
Yeah,
I think
North
it's
American Rescue. Yeah, S-rolled gauze. See, this is serious. This is totally not joking. This is like why we need Joe to help us with this. ETD flat trauma dressing. Let's see. I've got this cool little pack here.
That's a med kit.
Oh, total med kit. Like, dude, I need this for this is a med kit. So
Isn't that like your pill box for
yes,
every
this
day of the
I
week?
need, it's my pill box for every day of the week. I need it's like ibuprofen, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Tylenol, ibuprofen PM.
See, I needed this on the Mojave trip.
The burn dressing?
Yeah.
What'd you burn on?
Remember,
Mojave?
I was making coffee and I grabbed
that's right.
boiling hot.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
Cody, I actually inherited one of those. I don't know who it belongs to, but when we were at Hammers, one of those med pouches ended up in my bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I asked Brad, I'm like, hey, was that one yours? Do we miss one? He's like, nope. So I don't, if somebody, like, if it belongs to somebody and I just happen to get it, I've got it all separated out into those little pouches. If you want it back, let me know.
I've got a malleable splint, the guide, ice pack, thermal blanket.
It's not glucose free.
What?
It's insta glucose.
It's glucose for when you need more glucose. You mean you're talking about gluten?
Gluten. That's right.
Triangular
meant.
bandages, gauze.
Face
Cody,
mask.
how many triangular bandages?
Right here, there's one in this one. It looks like one in this pack. I still got 2 other pockets to go through.
Okay.
CPR shield. Oh, this is a CPR breather shield. That's a good deal.
Oh, there's also a first aid assistance guide.
First aid assistance guide.
You're like, hang on, dude. I know you're not breathing, but hold on while I look this
Yeah,
up.
let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
Let me see what I gotta
Cody,
do.
Cody, assess his breathing. Tweezers, a whistle that I really want to blow right now on the radio and on the recording, but I'm not going to do it.
Wait, does the whistle have a P in it?
Yeah, yeah, it's like a coach's whistle.
Old school.
Yeah. Hand sanitizer, cleaners. Wow, there is a lot of stuff in these bags.
Yeah, man.
Like
Yeah.
now, I want one of you to get hurt just so I can use this.
Soothe a sting
I
swab.
kind of want to get hurt. Like
A
let's see.
whole pack of Band-Aids and tape.
Wow, this is,
I mean, it's gonna happen. Some of you
yeah, these are
gonna
gonna get
hurt.
used ASAP.
Yeah, and so all joking aside, the fanny pack, like I liked the compact footprint of the fanny pack.
Yep.
And I stole some Joe Thunder here. I found a large enough Velcro strap, the loop back Velcro strap, and I'm able to put the fanny pack on the center headrest in the back of the truck with that single Velcro strap and cinch it down. And so this sits there the whole time, and you can literally grab just the Velcro strap, pull it, and the fanny pack comes right out. So that, like, I liked the ability to do that with this fanny pack. That, you know, that's part of the reason I chose it. I liked that compact footprint, and it's super sexy.
And you know what? That is something I miss from my old Jeep, because my seat covers on that one had Molly,
Oh,
and I could plant that IFAC on the back of my driver's seat. My 2012 doesn't have the Molly stuff on there, and my old seat covers don't fit. So I have to find a new way to mount it.
wow. I tell you what though, there's there's enough stuff in here to where I do think it would make sense for us to do a video, like the next time we're out on a trail, have you kind of go through and demonstrate each one of these things and what it's for, and that would be I think good for us, and maybe you can help me figure out how to get it all back into this bag.
Yeah.
But so I guess, going back to this, when we were really impressed with Travis and the conversation we had and what he's built with Outer Limit. And, fortunately, people like Joe and Travis that spend their day jobs keeping people alive have taken that and put it into our community and found a way to give back to what we do on a day-to-day basis, on a trail, out on the trail. And having the option to get a kit like this that will make you safer on the trail and protect your family and protect your friends and know that should something happen, you're covered. I mean, that's huge. And it's something I think the three of us, we've talked about taking it for granted before. Like, we had a quote first aid kit, but nothing to this level.
No,
nothing
dude.
to the point where, other than some gauze and an ace bandage, if something major would have happened, we all would have been hosed because we didn't know what to do, and he didn't have the stuff to do it. So thank you to Outer Limit for
Absolutely.
This is amazing stuff. And I mean, when you look, and the other thing is, there's the inside the fanny pack, inside the badge, there's a whole info card where you can fill out, and he set us up with their easy key. It's
The red key.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
red
red
key.
key, yeah.
It's a USB key. You can put all of your information on and keep it with you. And should something happen, like your blood type, your contact information, I think all that stuff is there. That's super, super cool, man. I want to hang one around Presley's neck and have her, have the boys carry it around.
There's not like a secret button that brings the fire department to you or anything, is there?
No. But I mean, that's
Good to know.
that's another really cool feature that Outer Limit provides. And it's not like this. It's not like the bag that it comes in is just some backpack they found or just some fanny pack they found. They feel like they're purpose built for this, so that everything goes in the right compartment, and they're tactical and they're well built and they're solid. And this is one of those things where, once every other year, I'm going to buy those refresh kits that he was talking about and just make sure that everything's filled back up in the kit and just keep using this bag for as long as I can. As a first aid. I love the fact, like I said, that it mounts on the headboard, on the headrest in the back. It's right there at any moment. This is Yeah, Travis, thank you so much. This is amazing stuff. I dig that. I mean, this is really, really cool.
The biggest thing for me was this kit was like purpose built for off roading.
Yeah.
And it's like if Joe, it's like if they got together, they see like what's the most probable things that could happen out on the trail, and then whatever's in this bag would aid whatever the most common things that happen on a trail.
Yeah, well, even the uncommon things, I feel like there's enough stuff in here to where the uncommon broken bones, the uncommon stuff is
There's
still
like
covered.
That chest wound or whatever. It looks like if you look at the directions, like to help you out from a gunshot. Like if you have a bullet hole in your chest,
It just plays a
strap
clip
this
of
right there.
Pulp Fiction when he shoves the needle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So the kit, yeah, you're right. The kits are rather comprehensive. If you think about that small red bag that I had, that you grabbed, right? So that one is specific to like serious life threats, right? Holes in the chest, bleeding control. That's what that bag is specifically for. I'm looking at the contents for the backpack that you have. It's a good blend of like the Boo Boo kit and a good first aid kit, right? A Boo Boo kit just band-aids and ointments and that kind of stuff. And this has those elements in it on top of the more serious tools
the more
to do
common
things, bleed control.
The more common injuries are somebody
It's
slipping
a really
and catching
it's a really good
rock.
blend.
Yeah.
And remember that Travis talked about how if you use this on somebody that it's a life-threatening deal, I'm pretty sure that what I remember hearing was he'll replace that,
Yeah.
right? If you use it and save a life, he'll replace whatever you used.
It was something like that.
And two things. Perry G in the live chat says that the words tactical and fanny pack should never be used together. You're right. I'm sorry. Sexy and fanny pack are the words that go together. Get over it. And second, Duty Driven says, as a side note, you can put your medical info on your phone in your emergency contacts, and it would be accessible by EMS and fire safety. Good tip, Duty Driven. That's something that we should do. Emergency contacts. I think you go in there and you just call it me, and then or my info. And then when they go into your phone, they can.
Who should be my emergency? Neither one of you
not
guys.
Me. Do not put me down because I'm going to be like, wait. What did he do?
Yeah.
Where is he at?
Put him on the helicopter.
Yeah, go ahead. How much is it going to cost him to fly him?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should do that. You should totally do that.
Exactly. Calling the chopper.
But that's, all of that kit is really amazing. I'm really impressed. Travis does great work. Thank you, Outer Limit Supply, for that. Okay. So Joe, thank you, for joining us again, for slumming it, for hanging out. And, we, hopefully if you don't get too big, you'll come back on another time and do another one of these segments someday. Don't forget your roots, man. Don't forget where you come from.
And
don't all of a sudden lose our number.
All of a sudden we can't get a hold of Joe anymore.
I would just like to apologize to Joe now because I feel like in the future I'm going to need his assistance. And he's going to be like, you MFer. Remember that episode that you gave me so much shit? Yeah, let's put you in a splint, and I'm going to have to pay for it. So thanks for coming on, Joe, and being a good sport.
You're welcome. My pleasure, guys.
All right, man. You have a good night.
Thanks, man.
Okay. So we are going to keep the live feed going right there. Joe, thanks again. We're going to do a couple more segments of some other stuff, but we will connect in the next couple of days and we'll talk about it. And appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us tonight, man.
You bet.
All right, dude. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Later, dude.
Perry G says the gunshot stuff may not seem like it's practical for most, but if you run across hunters while you're on a trip, it can save a life.
That's very true.
Not even hunters. If you run across like Jeep owners, those things are going to grenade any minute, and you don't know what's going to get projectiled out of that engine bay. Okay. So let's, we'll keep that going for a while, and
Pee break?
Oh yeah, hey, you guys on the live feed, you want to hang out for a couple minutes? We're gonna do a pee break and grab some more water, and then we will continue in just a minute.
Water.
I guess I'm gonna keep the show going by myself.
Jose, tell some great.
I got water here.
You saved all your great jokes. Do it. Remember that one time?
Let's see here.
Brian from Air Down, you can move that, Matt. Brian from Air Down says, I'm assuming it's Brian, gunshot wounds are typically seen more often as you wheel through Fontana.
Absolutely.
Sing us a song.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight.
I thought you were.
Because we're all in the mood for a melody. And you've got me feeling alright. La da dee da. Did this die?
Did it? No. Oh, what happened to the feed? Oh, there it goes. I was like, what happened?
Oh. Feature so good. Yeah, no, just black because I switched the camera
Oh, okay.
and then it went back. Because I thought that was still going. I'm switching over to see what that looked like. There we go. So no Tim tonight. That's cool. I mean, at least we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, the live feed was stale for a moment. Like it was
I
just
know.
calm. Usually, if Tim's on, things nonstop.
Dave, we're actually doing shows together right now. If you, I'll turn off the screen capture. You can see that Matt had to move the camera to get out of the room, but
Yeah, we're in the same room.
yeah, this is the second week back. We're
Yeah,
back
it's-
in the studio again, and it's great. It's very. I mean, I felt like we did a pretty good job adapting to the COVID need and splitting up, but the timing and everything, it's way different when we're sitting here together.
Yeah, it's instant. You can't replicate like just filling off the energy off each other in the
Yeah.
room rather than over the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Perry, when are we coming up to what mountains, Perry? Which mountains are you talking about?
And why never take the 18 to Big Bear?
Who said don't take the 18 to Big
I
Bear?
know it was closed. I think it was closed for a couple of days. A few days ago.
Perry, you talking about Big Bear area? Oh, Elam says don't ever take the 15 to Big Bear from the 10. I mean the 18 from the 10. It's just
It's a longer way.
it's a little bit longer, and you go up, and then all of a sudden you're like on a cliff, windy, right?
yes.
So to me, the 330 is the straightest shot up. The girls always end up getting sick, so I've been doing the 38, going all the way out to like your house.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, no, the last 3-4 times we've gone up and down, I've gone all the way out the 38 and back up.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a much more pretty drive.
It's not as curvy.
Not as
so the
curvy.
330 is the most direct route, but it's the most windiest
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't know. I think the 18 is pretty damn windy too.
It's pretty windy as well.
But it's quick. It's only like 8 minutes.
18?
Yeah. You go down that back way, you're down the mountain in like 15 minutes.
But then you're in Victorville.
But then you're
That's true. That's a whole nother dilemma there. Don't want like to go down there on purpose.
that's
you know?
true, but you don't want to go.
How do you want to get down? Let's go through Victorville.
Yeah, but you don't want to take the 18 from the 10 because you do have to go through San Bernardino.
That's true. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
How bad do you want to go to the mountains? Dave is saying you should join the Nissan Nation Productions show in a couple weeks, dude.
What?
Dave.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. What are we? We're talking about my sweet ass icon suspension.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're gonna talk about that now, aren't we?
Oh, is there an update?
Minor update.
A minor update.
Hold on, let me bring up the.
Beep boop beep beep boop.
Let me bring up the.
We should have like that old school like stock counter going in the background.
That would be production value and
No, like the paper printing one. Like,
Yeah.
From like yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't transfer over. Let me open up this. Okay, so we'll go through a couple things here. You guys ready? What time is it on the recording?
Dude, I'm being recruited by the Nissan Nation podcast.
You
just
should.
so
You should.
know.
You
Take
should.
it- take
You
it
should
and
go,
run.
dude. You should totally go.
Okay. It's done.
All right, we're back from our break, and again, thanks Joe for spending some time with us, and thank you to Outer Limit Supply for providing these kits. We're going to talk about these first aid kits some more because I'm super impressed with them, and I'm sure we'll make good use of them. I did want to bring up a quick article that actually Rob Flores sent to me as a way to say what's up. The 2020 Ford Ranger is the most American-made car. Wah, wah, wah.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Ford Ranger, Merca.
At least it's a Ford. You would assume all Fords are the most American made.
Like by what measure? Like
But-
most of the parts were it was assembled here.
Yep.
You know, I
the
don't know.
site ranked all of the 91 cars made in the U.S. based on 5
You
criteria.
know, Hesperia is in America.
Yeah,
was it
I thought
assembled
Tesla was like
Hammett.
100%.
It said based on this, it says final assembly location, percentage of North American parts, countries of origin for the engine and transmission, and quote U.S. manufacturing employees relative to the automaker's footprint. So
Did you like dig this up or something?
no,
Like, did you have
Rob
to try and
Flores.
find
No,
something
Rob
to-
Flores sent it to me as a heads up because he knows that the Ranger's awesome, and he wanted me to have some ammunition to throw in your face. Boom.
What, you got to get help from Rob
I'll take
for
all,
ammunition?
all the help I can get, man.
You're in trouble now. All I need to do, look, I'm a set of 33s away, and it's over, Johnny. Your reign of I don't want to say domination, but your reign is over.
Domination.
It's over.
So let's talk about that. We talked last week about doing the install on Matt's kit. We talked about the upper shock mounts had a little bit of a issue with the play with it. So driving it around for a couple days, we had already gone to to Icon.
It feels like a brand new truck again. Like,
Well, so let's go back.
obviously.
Hold on. When we
Did
went
you-
to
did you
Icon
put
last
the
week,
sleeve in? Did
yeah, they gave us those sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
He came over on Wednesday.
Solve the problem.
So he comes over Wednesday, and we're under the truck doing this in my driveway. It was a giant pain in the ass, but we got it done.
Giant?
Well, compared,
It was like an hour.
no,
I
but
mean, it wasn't
compared
that bad.
compared to being up on a
on the
lift and being able to reach everything, I'm just saying, I'm spoiled now. I can't.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, it's literally just one bolt that you were taking.
We had to
We had to take
pull
both
off
of them
because
off.
we had
Take the
to
whole shock
compress
back.
the shock back to get it in.
So,
How long did you guys try before you took the shock off?
No,
real
it was-
quick.
we
it was
took-
like
we took the
we're
top-
just gonna have to pull it out. There's
Yeah.
no way we're gonna compress this back.
yeah, we took the top off, the top bolt, a nut off, and I was like, we tried to slide it off the stud, and there was no way we were going to be able to push it
Oh,
down
yeah,
to
yeah,
get.
yeah.
So we took the bottom off, dropped the whole shock out, put the sleeves in, and then
And once
used
it
used
was
a
like,
jack to put up.
well, the jack broke, but
You're
luckily Cody's theory of jacks is have about 6 Harbor Freight jacks.
I do.
and you
I
should
know
be
you do.
covered. You
And
should be
they're
covered.
like the lightest weight ones
Well-
too. They're like
well, I had
a motorcycle or something.
I had two really
for your
crappy.
kid's skateboard when he wants to change the trucks.
I had
you
two
put it on
really-
one of them jacks.
I had two really crappy ones, and then after a family member passing away, I
Oh,
inherited like
that's
3
right.
more.
That legit
So I have a
one.
whole bunch of jacks now.
So it wasn't. It was literally like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it
an
wasn't.
hour.
It wasn't bad.
that big a
but,
deal.
But it was. So once we got it all done, all right, we good. I said, why don't you take it for a drive and test it?
I
He's
did
like,
those the two jumps in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
I took those.
well,
two
even
jumps.
before that, he's like, yeah, let me do that. So he's backed into the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out the driveway, and I live on the corner, so he makes the right turn to the corner, and it's all the way around the neighborhood. I'm like, you jackass! I
Yeah.
live here. So he turns around. There's a dip. going out of my neighborhood in both directions.
You're lucky there weren't two old ladies like I scared last week on the mountain.
The one over there by the park is the worst one.
Yeah, the one by the park on the way out towards that street, and there's another one going back here.
I have a new way of coming to the show every week, and I gotta hit that launch ramp on the way in. It's great.
He come back and he's like, I got all four wheels off the ground.
It was so great. And you know what? We this time we had the rear shock set up a little different. I think all the way to 1. I think they were at 3 the last time I went through there.
It was super stiff.
It bucked. You know,
Okay.
I'm not saying it bucked.
Well, there's no
It just
weight back
felt
there.
yeah. So this time it was like butter. You know.
Yeah, so that's totally dialed in now.
Cool.
What
do you have the front set to?
1.
Oh,
Everything's
it's
at
all
1.
one.
Well, my truck, even when we're wheeling, most of the time I have it set at 1. I think Mojave, I dialed up the rear a little bit because of the weight that I had back there.
Yep.
But most of the time, I just stay at 1 and just roll. So now that we got the shocks all taken care of, Nexon came through with another set of tires. That was awesome. Thank you, Paul, for that.
Super sweet.
The super sweet, the same.
Oh, so you got them.
Oh yeah, well, they're picked up. He picked them up.
Now ask me why they're not on my truck.
So he picked him up on Friday. I was at his house on Saturday doing some demo in the kitchen. By the way, we didn't get nearly enough positive comments on my dance video on Saturday.
Yeah, that's because it was so uncomfortable. And
It
weird.
was the best. You didn't see it, did you?
No.
Because you would have commented. I tried to get Matt to dance with me on Saturday, and he wouldn't do it. So
Look, I needed him for demo, so it was like I let him dry hump my leg for a minute or two.
Just get it out now. Get it out now.
That's pretty much what happened.
once he locks on, Clark, you better let him finish.
Yes,
Do you have your new countertop in now, or?
Oh,
I do.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I got photos, but you know, nobody gives a shit.
No. So
I give a shit.
after that's post show.
I'll show
That's
you.
post show. So while we were once we finished all the demo and everything, we went out, we grabbed the wheels, and he's all, these aren't going to fit. I'm like, what do you mean they're not going to fit? So they're 5 or 6 on 5.5.
Yeah,
His are 6 on 4.5. The lug pattern.
it's not
on the
about
wheels.
it's not about size.
So I'm texting Jeremy and I'm like, hey, his stock wheels are 6 on 4.5. He's like, that's stupid. Who has 6 on 4.5? And I'm like, that's what the Nissan Frontier.
Nissan Frontier.
But if you look online, there's conflicting numbers. Like apparently
Yeah.
certain years were 6 on 5.5. The European mark or the South American was 6 on 5. Yeah, super. So different axles. So he bought some adapters that we're gonna have to use. When do those come in?
The 2nd. So it's
Oh,
like
wow, that was a
couple of weeks.
You
Yeah,
didn't Amazon Prime that?
you sent me the link and I bought them.
I sent you the link to the ones I found. I didn't look to see what the shipping was. There was nothing more.
No, they're not Prime.
Oh.
So yeah. There's a lead time.
Bummer. So
Shut up, Jose. I don't. Snickerdoodles.
so now in my conversations with Jeremy going back and forth while we were driving to the hardware store, I'm in the passenger seat just a bunch of asking questions, and he was doing the math and he's like, well, if he uses those wheels that I provided him, he's going to be like plus 25 spaced out.
Yep.
So he's going to have to get something that's that 6 on 5.5 bolt pattern that's got a minus 25. Turns out the Ford Ranger wheels are the right wheels for the Frontier now. Matt's going to have to put Ford Ranger spec wheels on his Ranger to get the proper offset.
How do you feel about that, Matt? You look very disgusted right now.
I mean, that just seems like a really roundabout way to try and taint me. You know, like, all right, okay, but I still have some
the
wheel
Ranger
spacers
has
that'll separate me from your Ford rims, I guess. I don't know. It's just the offset, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the offset on the Ranger wheels is enough to shift back to
Same bolt
compensate.
pattern, though?
Yeah, 6 on 5.5. It shifts back to compensate for the spacer now. Because once you put the spacer on, I think, and I'm not a wheel scientist, I think what it's going to do, it's going to push those wheels out another 1.25 inches, and that's going to change the turning radius, and you'll have more rubbage and clearance issues.
What if I'm looking for more rubbish?
I mean, we all kind of looking for some rubbish. What he's saying is, so rather than that spec wheel,
I don't want any of that Ford rubbish.
and it's not even necessarily it just happens to be the same ones that fit on the Ford. That back spacing is the correct offset. So we'll talk to Jeremy once you get those spacers. We'll have to talk to Jeremy and like maybe go, okay, what do we need? We'll take those wheels you have back, get the new ones, and then you'll get set up.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still
I'm still in limbo.
Still a couple weeks.
I mean, whatever. I'm still mobbing hard with my suspension. It feels great.
And what's funny is even with the 31-inch wheels, 32, whatever, 31, whatever's on there now, it doesn't look out of place. It doesn't look anemic on the wheels. I think once you put those wheels on, it's going to look even beefier. But but I'm just saying it does. I mean, if you put that kit on there and didn't add bigger wheels, it still looks great.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think that's the aggressiveness of the tire. Like those Nexon tires, especially in beast mode, they just look swole up. Like they're gonna jump and grab you. So
those tires. I mean, I had someone reach out to me and say, seriously, how do you like those tires? I'm like, dead serious. Absolutely love them. Like,
no doubt.
Totally love those tires. So the Nissan the Frontier is one step closer. We still haven't made a decision as to when and where we're going to test it all out and what's going to happen. I think
right now I got to put my kitchen back together. That's that's like something you take for granted. Because we demoed the sink, the faucet.
Oh, speaking of the sink, did the sink work out?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
But they pulled the sink. So Monty texted me yesterday, and she's like, they're really upset because the sink doesn't fit correctly. What are you talking about? That thing was level. No, it's they say it's high in the back. No. That thing was like dead nuts level all the way around. I think they pulled the sink out to dry fit, and remember how there was like a little
spacer, that little
I don't know if that like a patch or I don't know what that was.
Like a support.
There you go. I like support. That sounds better.
Yeah, you had to put it in backside first to get it to wedge.
Or push the back plywood back a little bit so it dropped down. Either way, they figured that out, and it came out beautiful. But I don't have a faucet. The faucet's not hooked up. The dishwasher's not hooked up. None of that's hooked up. So there's water. There isn't water to the fridge. The kids are like wanting to drink water, ice water all the time. When are you gonna hook that up? The stove's out. So the funny thing is, since Saturday, you still want to use your silverware and cups and whatever, but there's no.
You had to wash them in the bathroom
sink.
sink.
Exactly. So the bathroom downstairs bathroom has just kind of become the backup kitchen or whatever. It's weird, but so I need to take care of that in the next day or two.
That's funny. The demo. I mean, Matt and I are pretty good at demo stuff, so we got that knocked out pretty quick, and I'm looking forward to seeing it when it's done, when it's all put back together. And I'm sure
my wife spent enough money on the faucet and the sink. Like, good God!
And I bet she's super.
Better raise the value of our house. Like,
I bet she's super stoked that she's got to wait another day for that stuff to go in because you're here tonight.
Well, I couldn't do it last night because they recommended that the countertops not be touched or moved or worked on for 24 hours because the sealant and whatever.
That's just a recommendation, though.
Yeah.
Dude, I was tired last night. That stuff. I got home kind of late. I was like, I'm
not doing it anyway.
Let that shit glue. Let that glue dry up. It's not. They're brand new. So,
well, glad to hear about that.
Yeah,
Jose,
yes.
we are recording on Tuesday because Jose was not available this Monday. And I see you made a note here in the notes. You want to talk about your 1,600-mile road trip in the Land Cruiser?
Yeah, I had a.
You took the Cruiser?
Dude, that's my only car. I can't.
Did the family went?
Yeah. No, just me.
Oh, no way!
What?
Yeah,
I thought Letty and Damon went.
No. She couldn't. Dude, this is a really bad time for her at work right now.
Oh man,
she couldn't get the days off.
So you got a call and said you had to go to Texas.
Yeah, El Paso. So it's like literally like the beginning of Texas.
Oh, because once you get to Texas, there's another 4 days of drive time.
Yeah, exactly. There's like 3 more days you got to go through. No, it was just a family emergency, but everything turned out well. But I headed out on Friday, 4:30 a.m.
Ooh.
Actually,
that's usually when I go to work.
I took the cruiser, dude. I wasn't really nervous about it, but it was always in the back of my mind. Dude, is a 26-year-old vehicle
with how many miles on
192,000 driving 12 hours, you know.
and it's not like a 12 leisure hours. That's like through the desert.
There's nothing. There's nothing.
It's hot as balls out there, and you're like just all the way to Texas.
Yeah, it was hot. I had the AC on blast the whole way, and coming back.
You got AC?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. You know your AC worked.
What?
Nah, the whole time the belt or the thing was chattering. Remember, you would hear it. It was just a loose belt.
Oh.
Ugh. All right. First thing I'd have checked.
I
AC's
did. I thought I did.
Number one thing for me, AC. Matt, you want to go wheeling? F no, man. My AC ain't working.
Real quick, Perry G in the chat says, El Paso, speaking of emergency packs for gunshot wounds.
Actually, that's a big. There's an army base there. Like that's the thing there.
Yeah.
So you don't, and it's Texas. So,
yeah.
But it is right across the border from Juarez, which is like war zone. So I don't know.
Good times. Good times. So you took off at 4:00 in the morning.
4:30.
You know, I saw that meme or whatever once. It's like the more dangerous the neighborhood, the better the tacos. So they probably got amazing tacos there.
So I made it 5:30 Texas time. It's an hour ahead over there.
So you left at 4:30,
and I made it.
And you went.
5.
What'd you go out straight out to 10?
10 the whole way.
Man.
Whole way.
And so as you're driving for 12 hours.
Is it bumper to bumper once you get into Arizona too?
No, there wasn't. When I was driving through Phoenix, I thought I was gonna hit traffic, but there's no traffic. Actually, I drove through Tucson, and the mountains were on fire. There's like a big fire going on right now. That was pretty crazy.
I think that's just pretty normal. That's Arizona.
Yeah, that's Arizona.
That's like, we got a fire front coming in. That's the weatherman comes in, and it's like, we got another fire front coming in this weekend, so prepare yourselves, everybody.
To be honest, our backyard probably burns more than theirs does.
Yeah, I was like, they have that here too, huh?
Yeah, I just saw a news article about a thing I was watching on the news, how the Cal Fire just spent $27 million or something on a military Black Hawk helicopter that's retrofitted with all of the, like, instead of the little bucket to get water, it's now like a giant tanker that can refill itself 100 gallons in like 5 seconds.
Okay,
crazy.
At least for 15 years or so, every year there's like a pretty major fire.
Yeah.
If not every year, every other year.
Yeah.
In Southern California. And we're always borrowing these tankers from Canada. And it's like, dude.
Well, the main
Can't we buy our own stuff? So that makes me happy.
Cal Fire, the LA Sheriff's has one, or LA
I feel like
Fire.
every city should have one.
Yeah, Cal Fire, LA Fire, and one other city they highlighted have these super high-tech choppers now, military choppers that are retrofitted specifically for this. And the pilot was saying there's even autopilot now. So like if it gets it's got like night vision, and they can see in the fire, in the fog, and the smoke and everything, and they can pinpoint the GPS where the water is and where the fire is, and the chopper will go back and forth as fast as possible. Crazy stuff. Super cool. I forget where it was, but super cool. Called a Firehawk. That's right, duty driven. LA County Fire just got one, and it's called the Firehawk. Instead of the Black Hawk, it's a Firehawk. They're badass. So going back to Texas, so as you're driving 12 hours through virtual nothingness, listening to your JBL speaker.
Yes.
Your JBL Bluetooth speaker wedged in the dash.
Yep.
Like, what were you thinking about, dude? That's a long time worth of your own thoughts.
I was just like, man, I can't believe I'm driving this thing out here. I'm just like, man, there's nothing in past Tucson. It's just nothing, dude. There's nothing. There's just desert.
What were you going to do if you broke down?
I don't know. I had like my tools. I had my spare. Like, I was like, if I was going on an off-road trip, right? Like, I took everything I could, any emergency thing I had. I had a cooler.
I could see Matt and I getting a phone call.
Hey, what are you guys doing right now?
I'm somewhere between Phoenix and New Mexico.
Just stay on the 10. You'll see me.
You called Letty first? Did you call Letty first? Yeah, she said call you guys.
She said call you guys.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, Friday, so everything went well. Saturday, I did the Texas thing. I went shooting.
Did you really?
Yeah, because my cousin's husband's in the Army, and,
Okay.
and they love shooting out there. So that was cool. But on the
What
way,
did you shoot?
we shot.
Oh no! I've got like boom, 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 like
I
a whole.
know.
But I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
As soon as I said it,
It was a bad
took it
idea.
back.
Shot guns. A lot of guns.
Okay. Nice.
But yeah, on the way back, I brought my mom with me. So my mom had been out there already.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so my sister,
Oh.
my family, they had gone out there earlier in the week.
Oh, okay.
I just couldn't get the time off, so that's why I left Friday.
Got it.
But on the way back, my mom came with me.
Oh, that's cool. At least you had someone to talk to.
Yeah, talk to, and then she helped me drive for a couple hours.
Assuming you guys get along.
We do. Yeah, everything's all good.
Nope, we hate each other.
Nah,
it was miserable.
It was
Made it
worse
even
than
worse.
driving out there. No, everything's good. And then, dude, it was fucking hot driving.
Oh,
through
come
Brazil.
on now. You only did that because you got a
Yeah,
request for it.
exactly.
In
You had your
Dude.
pen in hand.
156. So yeah, so you guys in the chat suck because now you're egging them on. Come on, Jose, drop an F-bomb. We haven't heard one yet. You guys suck.
Dude, it was hot driving through like Indio and Blythe. It was 110.
Dude.
The cruiser, the needle stayed under the midpoint.
No
Nothing,
issues
dude.
overheating. Well, but you at this point you've done a lot of maintenance. Like
I've
you've been
maintained it.
you've been way better than the two of us for sure. Like you will change fluids and
I have a
flush
Nissan.
the-
I don't have to
You actually
maintain
do
nothing.
have to maintain it.
Yeah,
dude.
no, but he will like before we go on a trip. He's like, yeah, I spent all day Saturday flushing the radiator and changing out the differential fluid,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like I'm like, when's the last time I did that on a vehicle? But then again, I only have a
that's-
vehicle for 3 years. Like,
yeah,
I just-
exactly. That's when it's time to buy another vehicle. I'm worried. I'm a little concerned about my transmission fluid. Time to get a new.
Get a new
time
one.
to buy a Jeep or whatever.
Yeah,
Bought
it was
a Ford.
It was
this time.
110 driving through Blythe and Indio yesterday.
Dag, burn it.
Ugh.
Hot, dude. But
Dang.
yeah, dude, that thing, the trooper man did great.
So now imagine doing that trip without the gearing.
Oh, dude, no. Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad once they got like up to freeway speed, but like if I had to stop and go, no, it'd be horrible.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
I'm
that's
sorry. So you had to go out to Texas for family issues?
Yeah. So my grandma, she's 95. She had a mild heart attack.
Jeez.
at
Yeah,
95.
at
Nothing's
95.
mild.
That's what I said. But
It's
apparently,
like she had a mild corn on her foot.
Yeah,
so like, oh, okay.
This could be
yeah,
it.
I
This could
understand,
be it.
Yeah.
but I hadn't been over there in 5 years, so I hadn't seen that whole family in a long time, and I just knew I had to get out there because a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So, but no, she recovered great. She was up and walking when I left.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God,
She was
dude.
eating.
I thought I had a heart attack like a year ago.
That's right.
And I didn't even
Oh,
want
that's
to.
right.
I didn't even want to get out of bed. I thought I was
too many
I was
Red Bulls.
Hypochondriac. Like I shouldn't go to work today. Like let alone I can't walk around.
You had too many Red Bulls. I had to take you to the emergency room, waste my entire freaking night sitting there with you, and then
You said you liked it.
no, I lied. Jose's grandmother's 95 years old, and she would have been like, "Throw some dirt on it, you pansy. Get back to work."
No doubt. I mean, no doubt. But thank God she's
Yeah,
not
she's a-
hanging out with me because she would be pushing me into doing some crazy stuff.
No, she'd be pushing you in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Probably. She would probably thankfully help me, unlike some people in this room.
That's
Throw it back in my face.
But no, it was good to see family I hadn't seen in a long time. So all my aunts and stuff and cousins. But everything turned out great. And yeah, the drive back went good. Worry free. Cruiser's good, dude.
Dude, that's amazing. That says a lot about that truck. 190 some, almost 200,000 miles, 26 years old, making that kind of a trip with no heat issues, other than the JBL speaker. Like you just
Yeah.
need a new stereo in that.
I mean,
truck.
it has the original stereo, which works. I just don't use it because the speakers suck.
Oh,
But that's the only reason why.
we need to hit up the guys at OEM Audio, get you a full.
They probably don't even have a kit
Yeah.
for that truck, dude. But what was I gonna say?
Dude, Icon didn't have a kit for my truck, and they just fabricated.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
we just gotta.
yeah.
Hey,
You know,
man.
our show is that guy in high school that couldn't get a date, but he was like nice to people, and he would like bug chicks long enough.
We're not that nice.
Bug chicks,
Yeah, but
bug
that's
chicks
the
long
thing.
enough until they go to prom with him. Like that's what we do.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, look at Tammy, dude. The only reason I landed her is because I was relentless. That's all. At some point she was like,
Whose prom did you take her to? You guys are old. What?
yeah, she has no business being with me.
But dude, now I can say I've taken those tires through all like, you know, dude, it was hot. There's a lot of tire blowouts on the way.
Oh wow,
There's a lot of cars like blowing out tires.
scattered on the side
There
of the
was
road.
no, it was like in the lanes, like, dude, there was a lot. It was hot, dude. It was super hot.
Yeah, I mean 110 and on blacktop, and you're doing 80 miles an hour down the
Exactly.
road. Yeah.
Just got to push it to 90. You got to cool those tires down.
I may or may not have been running late this morning and got the truck up to allegedly triple digits on the
Oh my god!
on the 241 going
I
down to
believe that.
Irvine. And you know there's a couple spots on the
On
240.
that downhill.
Yeah, there's a
side, of
couple
course.
spots on the 241 that are like wavy and bumpy, and damn it, that suspension just I was like I could have gone 20 miles faster and like
You still had some in the tank?
oh
Like,
for sure
really?
for sure.
There's no rev limiter on that?
No. I was single hand steering with my monster in my hand, and like just the truck
Whoa.
was was just cruising like it was.
Is that what we're calling it now?
It has never ever been referred to as monster. let's set the record straight there. That is not.
God.
That is not.
I mean, I know it's a toll road, and there's
There's not a lot of cars around.
I mean, you are paying to drive on it, so I guess
you do whatever you want.
you can make that argument, right? Like, I paid to be on this road.
I agree. If you're paying to be on the road, you can do whatever you want there. That's it's like the Autobahn Mad Max Thunderdome action on the 241.
I've never even heard of Mad Max Thunderdome action doing that. That's dangerous.
So back to your trip. So successful trip there, successful trip back.
Yep.
Was there anything of the truck that you were concerned or thought, I need to change this when I get back, or was it just?
No, I just I kept the ABS light would come on and off like it would flash and then it would stop, but my brakes didn't
It was
make
trying to
anything.
warn you, like, you're about to enter Texas.
Yeah, stop.
Hold on, wait a minute.
But no, I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's like a loose wire somewhere or something. I got to go through it and see what's going on. But I was surprised, dude. The off-road car culture over there, it's pretty big. Like you'll see like Tacomas.
Yeah, but isn't it different?
Like
the
show.
Yeah, the big full size
No,
trucks.
you have that. So you have like full-size trucks and like 22
20-inch wheels,
Yeah, like
yeah.
22-inch wheels. But the off-road thing is big over there too.
Is it? Cool.
I saw a car with a CarTech off-road sticker.
No way.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's by our house.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see like lifted Tacomas, lifted Jeeps and stuff. So it's pretty cool to see that.
That's cool. Again, going back to the Land Cruiser, it's super impressive that thing. I mean, I've always been impressed with your rig. I love that thing.
Yeah, but this was like I didn't know what was going to be the outcome. Honestly, I just
I
went.
probably would have rented a car, like just a cheap shit box. And just,
I don't know, but I'm like, dude, this is my car, so I have to deal with the consequences. This is my only car, dude. What am I gonna do?
like I said,
Rent
rent a
a car.
shit box, like a Corolla for $40. You could probably, dude. They're all the stadiums around Southern California are full of rental cars because nobody's renting cars. I guarantee you probably rent a car for nothing.
Yeah, probably like
please.
$5 a day.
Yeah, like here, do this.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take this to Texas. Absolutely, like they don't even care.
leave it there when you're done with it.
Yeah, leave it there. Bring another one back.
Yeah, I do. He probably could have, but I'm impressed that he did it.
Props to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what that says is you have confidence in your truck. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
and I wouldn't doubt that either. Kudos. Granola bars to you, sir.
So yeah, so it was like a little adventure. So
All right. I do want to touch base quickly on the single best podcast review I've ever seen in my life.
Did we get a podcast review?
We got a podcast. You didn't see it on Instagram? God.
Dude, I have to work, man.
We work too, man.
Do you?
So
Do you?
the single.
I just
Apparently,
said,
you
yeah.
just like
I think he's sleeping all day.
You write strongly worded emails all day.
I'm just very, yeah, exactly.
I think Matt sleeps all day. So
I wish.
we got a 5-star review, and it's from Wordy LRK, and I'll tell you who that is in a minute. You might be able to guess who it is. It was
Oh,
on
no. I called this out.
Yeah.
I know this
on
one.
6/15/2020.
This is the best.
This is the single best review I've ever seen. The title of the review is "Pretty Good Show." The text that follows says, "My husband made me write this review." So
I nailed it. I didn't even have to I don't even know who
Yeah.
was.
LRK is Lauren Kilmer. It's Tim's
Okay,
wife.
but I didn't even have to do that. I knew it was Tim's wife.
Oh,
I knew it instantly.
man.
Instantly. Thank you, Tim, and thank you,
Lauren.
Lauren. Yes.
Yes,
the
that is
best.
the single best. And I posted it on Instagram, and everybody thought it was the greatest thing ever. Like, that's for the rest of you out there. Please make your wives or significant others or whoever it is in your household that doesn't listen to the show. Please make them write a review, and I want all of them to say, "My husband made me write this review,"
Yes.
or "My wife made me write this review."
Yes.
That would be the best.
I think Letty would still go with the 5-star.
You know what that is?
But it would be like, this show sucks.
I'm tired of these jackholes.
That's the sign of a strong marriage. I still did. I love this guy.
She'd be told HR. She'd be like, "There's opportunity in the show."
This show's good, but not as good as episode blah 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 when I was on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that thank you, Lauren. That was I swear I laughed for hours. Like, that was the best thing, just seeing that and like knowing, like you said, knowing exactly where it came from.
Oh yeah.
So since Tim can't be here tonight, in honor of Tim, thank you.
That's when we decided.
Yeah.
That's when we decided. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
man.
I didn't think about that. Okay, and I think lastly, wanted to give a shout out to a bunch of the people. So this weekend on the 27th, Mountain Hatch is hosting a meet and greet at their place out in Menifee, and I am going to find the address right now. So it's presented by Trigger Controller, Lightner, Falcon Tire, Icon, DeMello, and Mountain Hatch. We will be there as well. It's Saturday, June 27th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at 31877 Corridon Road, Unit 150, Lake Elsinore, California, 92530. So you can see it on our Instagram page. We've got it posted up there. But they're pulling together just a meet and greet kind of thing, with a bunch of these.
Are they gonna have donuts and stuff?
It's Olaf and coffee, and everybody keeps asking me what Olaf stands
It's
for.
Overland
As
AF.
Yeah, Overland as AF, as F. Yeah, so as
AF.
Jose. It's Overland as Jose.
So no donuts or
I don't know. I'm
okay.
assuming there's going to be some.
How about this? I'll buy a dozen.
Yeah, I was going to say we can bring some donuts
We'll
down.
indulge in some donuts.
We can bring some
okay.
donuts down, but yeah, I mean these guys. So they
getting interested.
Mountain Hatch.
Go on.
Go on.
Mountain Hatch recently got this brick and mortar space
Yeah.
for this. So congratulations to them. They've supported us quite a bit. We love their product. They, even made.
I'm gonna get a Mountain Hatch on Saturday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Are you when you get there? Make sure you put it on the right way.
Hey, dude, there's no.
And for those of you that know what I'm talking about, you missed it, and you'll have to go find it on Instagram.
It's worth it.
It's totally worth it.
They're gonna start providing instructions.
We
now
talked
for-
about
for-
it on the show as well.
Your dad talked about it. Your dad knew about it.
How did Dad find out about it?
I have no idea, but he was like, "Oh, because I was sitting out
on Father's Day." He's like, "I don't have a son."
Is this that thing that my son was putting on
Yeah.
upside down?
I only have one son.
Well, I still love you, Dad. But yeah, so come
He's
out.
not listening tonight.
I know he's not listening ever. So come out Saturday the 27th. If you're hearing this, this should come out on the 25th. So Saturday the 27th. The plan is for Tammy and I and Presley to go down there. We're going down to San Diego after that, so we're going to stop here on the way down. Are you guys coming down as well? Okay, I'm getting head nods, which is great for radio, for audio pod content. Appreciate
I have
that.
a face for
I'm
radio.
I'm nodding vigorously.
You
like
are.
maybe
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
like
the
they can
wind,
hear
you
the
can
noise
hear
or
the
something, like the
wave.
friction of my beard, or I don't know.
So we will be down there Saturday. Come down, say hi, and check out what Mountain Hatch and the rest of the group is up to.
Beard friction, Coachella 2020.
2020.
21.
Oh,
At
21.
the
that's
earliest,
right.
yeah.
Oh, that's true.
At the earliest. Other than that, that's it. I mean, anything else, guys, you want to talk about? We good? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Donuts Saturday?
Who's responsible
Saturday,
for donuts?
I'll get the
You're getting
Jose,
donuts?
dude, Jose said he'd do it.
I know.
I'm holding him to it. They better be. Let me tell you,
Glazed buttermilk and sprinkles.
Yeah. Okay, both of those
This
are
is
good.
what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go to the donut shop. May I have a dozen? I'm not going to sit there and be
No,
like, "Pick,
no,
just give
because they're
me
going to
a-
give you the crappy ones. If you don't specify, they give you the cheap ones. You have to say, I want a maple bar and I want two of the sprinkles.
Whoa,
Maple
Maple
bars
bar.
are the cheap ones.
I
dude.
want
Yeah,
well, you
that's
got
like
to
the-
mix it up. So you get a glazed twist and a maple bar, and then you get then you start getting fancy. You get the sprinkles, the rainbow sprinkles. I prefer the long sprinkles versus the circle sprinkles. Rainbow sprinkles, and then you get the glazed buttermilk. Why are you guys looking at me like that? And then sometimes a crumb. Presley likes the chocolate with chocolate frosting, and you gotta pick that stuff out. You gotta.
But that's what they give you in the dozen. They just all the ones you just mentioned are in that dozen.
Not him when he goes. It's just all donut holes.
Yeah.
It's just the glazed
Give me
donut holes.
11 glazed twists
And one plain cake.
and
Yes.
all
The last-
and a cruller.
the last plain cake from yesterday. It was a doorstop overnight. Here you go, sir.
Oh, crap. Well, that's it for the donut show. Have a good night.
Oh man.
All right. What's going on in the live feed, everybody? We are going to save this real quick so I don't lose it.
Yeah, maple bars do suck, by the way.
Tammy likes the maple bars.
I'm fine with maple bars.
That's
Just
like
donuts, dude. Just
I'll
cake.
take it. I'll take the donut.
Yeah, like
I'll take it. But I'm just saying, if I had a
look
choice,
this morning I had to do some training, so
Yep. You bring your donuts.
no, I didn't bring any donuts. The engineers who were getting trained came in with donuts. I'm a horrible project manager. So I'm sitting there, and they come in with donuts, and they're like, "Hey, Matt," they're gesturing, and he does like the belly thing, how it's good, and I'm like, "No, I'm good, thank you." 10 minutes later, so you guys are letting me have them donuts, right? Like
the offer's
can't-
still open, or
yeah. But it was you know what, is it Yum Yum? It wasn't Yum Yum. What's the other like big? They were kind of crappy, dude.
Tom Hortons.
There ain't no Tom Hortons in Baldwin Park Homes. There's like your mom and pop donut places that
That's
are
Canadian, dude. That's
Tom
a
Horton.
Yeah, that's a Canadian thing.
So we're getting blasted here by RAF62SS. Yeah. He says, when are we going to have another husband bashing episode?
Yeah, they're better than
And Duty Driven says, my girlfriend listened to a couple episodes with me when the wives took over and it was her favorite. And RAF62 says, yeah, they're way better than these guys.
sign them.
No, it's either Winchell's or
Dunkin'.
Donuts.
But we here in this neighborhood, we have 52 donut shops. They're all Donut Star. All the exact same donut shop, just in a different location. Sprinkles are for winners. Elam, that's the progressive commercial. I got the reference. Thanks, Elam. I appreciate that.
Man, you got to go deep on some of these. Huh?
And Duty Driven says the No Tim podcast was a success.
Could have been better. I think with Tim, those are golden shows, golden episodes.
So, all right, guys, in the live feed, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Always makes it fun having you guys here. I appreciate that. We are going to end the live stream, do a little bit of intro recording, and we will talk to you guys next week. Please come out and see us on Saturday. I don't know exactly what time I'll probably be
What
there.
time's it start?
It's 8 to 11, I think.
What?
8 to 10.
To 8 o'clock in the
On a
morning?
Saturday?
Yeah, 8 to 11. So just man up, get there. We'll probably get there 9ish. I don't know. All right, we'll
You
see.
better be there at
We'll
7:45.
see you guys later. Oh, RAF 62 SS is Rob Flores figures. That's why he's bashing so hard. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Late.